Pasha tells us the story of Yaakov and Lavan, the complex and complicated relationship of the story of Yaakov and Rochel and Leah. Could I have a Rambam Mishpotim if it's Vayeitzei Yad? So almost every week, as we move forward in Sefer Bereshis, Sefer Bereshis is also called Sifron Shel Avos. And a Sefer Yehoshua, Sefer Bereshis, is defined as Sefer HaYoshar. Not only Sefer Bereshis, Kodesh Moshe, but in Avodah Daf Chavav, there are two different opinions why is Kodesh Moshe called Sefer HaYoshar? No, any Kinyan, not Sefer Mishpotim, but Sefer Kinyan in Rambam. So according to one opinion of Avodah Chavav, Kodesh Moshe is called Sefer HaYoshar because of Sefer Bereshis. Because Sefer Bereshis is about the Avos. And Avoseini HaKadoshim Yeshorim Hoyu B'tachlis HaYashis. So last week, we related to the question, Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Oy Holim. And when we learned the sugya of the B'choira and the Brochus, Yaakov doesn't strike us as being Yoshev B'tachlis HaYashis. So it is important to supplement and learn this week's parsha. This week's parsha dealing with Yaakov and Lavan. So in the very last halacha in Hilchos Schiras, Perek Yud Gimel Hilchos Schiras, halacha Zayin, the Rambam deals with the halachas of Schiras Poyalim. On one hand, the Rambam writes how honest the employer has to be with his workers and how he needs to care for them. And on the other hand, what is the integrity that we expect from workers to be honest the way they work for their employer. And then the Rambam writes, V'chayev hapoyel lavoid b'kol koichoi. Yaakov HaTzadik. It is the only time and only place in which Yaakov is called Yaakov HaTzadik. Usually, the title HaTzadik comes together with Yosef HaTzadik, because of the story with Yosef and Eishes Poitifera. But the Rambam writes, Yaakov HaTzadik, Omar, ki bekol koichi avaditi es avichem. And Orach Chaim and other great Gedolim point out, Lavan didn't treat Yaakov as he should have. Lavan wasn't very fair with Yaakov, but nevertheless, Yaakov says, "Bekol koichi avadati es avichem." And the Rambam says, and that is why Yaakov was zoicha v'yifrois hu ish ma'oid. So what we learn from the Rambam, the level of integrity that we expect from Shomer Mitzvahs, and the level of Yashas, because our Ovis were Yeshorim B'tachlis HaYoshar, and our Torah is defined as Sefer HaYoshar. And even when you could rationalize, and Yaakov was entitled to say, Im ikesh tispatel, Lavan isn't fair with me, why do I need to be fair with him? No, that is not the right approach. Even when he isn't fair with me, I will be fair with him. And that is why Yaakov was zeicha. He was zeicha to great atzlacha. And not only bedino sheyitl schore b'yolam haba, also b'yolam hazeh, and that is why v'yifroisu ish ma'oid, and he had great atzlacha. So many times I quote what the Be'era Goyle writes in Choshen Mishpat in the beginning of Hilchos Gneiva V'Gzeila. So the Be'era Goyle writes that, yes, Chazal were somewhat lenient in our dealings with non-Jews, of course, halva but the Beit HaGola writes that I have examined and observed as I lived my life the way people dealt with each other. And I realized that those people that took advantage of non-Jews and weren't entirely honest and straightforward, ultimately were not successful. And their money yored letimyon. And those that were always totally honest and trustworthy and never took advantage of others, not only Jews, even from Gentiles, those that were the ones that had siyata d'shmaya and hatzlacha. And whenever I quote this Beit HaGola, I say it is important to realize who writes those words. Why is the Beit HaGola called Beit HaGola? So in the Hakdama to his Sefer, he writes that I was a child when our community, our Kehillah, was destroyed by the non-Jews. And that was a terrible pogrom in the time of the Gezerah of Tov Ches and Tov Tes, going back more than 400 years. And he fled his home with his parents when he was a young child in the middle of the night, because their life was in imminent danger. And they were goyla achar goyla. They were wandering from one town, one city to the other. So if anybody was entitled to say, those goyim yimach shamam, let's rob and take from them whatever we can, it was him. And he found the moral integrity and moral greatness to say, we should never take advantage of others, not only Jews, even of non-Jews. And that is most significant and most inspiring. So that was Yaakov Avinu, and that is the Avos HaKdoshim. And that is Derech HaTorah. And our Torah is called Sefer HaYoshua. So when we say, Chayav Adam Loimar, Moshe Giyu Masei, L'Masei Vayeitzei, it is not only the Torah of the Avos and the Tefillah of the Avos and the Dikdikadin of the Avos, it is also the Yashus of the Avos. And conducting all our affairs b'tachlis hayoshua, and with total integrity and honesty with whomever we may deal with. And never to rationalize, he isn't so fair, so maybe I could be the same. No. Yaakov Avinu dealt with Lavan. Lavan was totally unfair. He took advantage of Yaakov, and he lied to Yaakov from the first encounter with Rachel and with Leah. And nevertheless, Yaakov says, Ki b'kol chochi avadati es avichen. And I was always totally honest and straightforward and integral in my monetary dealings with anyone, and even with Lavan harosha shebikesh la'akol esakol. And in this aspect as well, we need to say Moshe Giyu Masei L'Masei Vayeitzei. So many times I tell my friends, 1,000 years in Golus, Moshke advised ingenious ways how to take advantage of the Goyim. And maybe it was justified, because in Golus we were persecuted and we were robbed, and maybe Moshke couldn't survive if he didn't devise creative ways how to get out of situations and how to take advantage of the Goyim. But we're no longer Moshke. Things have changed, and we live in open and democratic societies in which we have total rights, just as others. So it's about time that we stop taking advantage of each other, whether they're Jews or non-Jews, and taking advantage of the medina and the area. And we need to be honest with everyone, whether it's with individuals or states or municipalities or countries or institutions or chevrot bituach or whoever it is, because our Torah is Sefer HaYoshua, and our Avos were Yeshorim, and Yaakov was Yosher with everyone, even with Lavan. And he didn't look for tirutzi, and he didn't rationalize, because Yashus is between us and ourselves, it's between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and not only between us and other people. And the Rambam writes at the end of Shemitah V'Yovel, when the Rambam writes and deals with the question, how could a person be part of Shevet Levi? How could he join the most elite club that Yiddishkeit has to offer, which is Shevet Levi? And the Rambam writes, Loi Shevet Levi Bilvad, Elo Kol Ish Veish Mekol Bo Yolam, Asher Nachoinu Madoi, Asher Hevinu Medoi, Onachoinu Ruchoi. Lamed Lefnei Hashem Liyavdei Oleshorosoi, Hoylech Yoshor Kefi She'aso Hu Elokim V'Poyrek Me'olav Oilem Cheshbonos Harabim Asher Bikshu Lehem Bnei Yodam, Harei Ze Niskadosh Kodesh Kodesh. Hoylech Yoshor Kefi She'aso Hu Elokim. That is a condition, not only to be a mensch, to achieve any level of Kedusha. Because Kedusha is not only about Torah, and not only about Tefillah. Kedusha is about Yashrus as well. And you need to be Yashar, not because you got to be a mensch, because otherwise you can't come close to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is Mesava v'sisu ha'yashar v'hatoiv. Torah's Moshe is Sefer ha'yashar, and our Ovois were Yasharim. So the Rambam writes, you could achieve no level of Kedusha, only with Torah, with Avodah, and condition number 3. Hoylech Yoshor, Kefi She'asohu Elokim, V'Poyrek Me'olav Oilech Cheshbonos Harabim, Asher Bikshu Lehem Bnei Odom, Al Shem HaKosav, Elokim, Oso Esa Odom Yoshor, V'Heimu Bikshu Cheshbonos Harabim. So we should all emulate and go in the footsteps of Yaakov Avinu, and in the footsteps of our Avos, and be Mekayim Kol Ma Shekosav B'Sefer HaYoshor. And it is the Dav Kuboy, Elokim Oso Esa Odom Yoshor V'Heimu Bikshu Cheshbonos Harabim. The schus of the Ovis HaKdoshim, we should be Zoichet to be as Goel Tzedek, to Yeshua's Yisrael, Yeshua's Hashem Kerem Ayin, to be as Moshiach Tzedkenu B'Meiro V'Yom